Have you ever paused to wonder what steals the breath from our elders in their final years? It's not a question we linger on willingly. Death's shadow is a cold guest at any table, but peering into it with clear eyes can shift everything. Knowing what looms largest doesn't just hand us facts. It offers a lantern to guide our steps, illuminating paths to richer days and stronger choices. This isn't about grim statistics or sterile medical charts. It's about standing taller, wiser, and more alive, one revelation at a time. So come along with me as we unravel the 5 leading causes of death for older adults, drawn from the latest whispers of research. We won't just name them and move on. No, we'll dig into how they unfurl, what whispers warn us they're near, and how we might nudge fate in our favor. From the hushed menace of heart disease to the slow fade of a mind unmoored, we'll weave through stories that might echo in your own life. Stick with me to the end, because each piece builds a mosaic of what aging truly means and how it doesn't have to strip away your fire, your freedom, or your quiet joy. Number 1. Heart disease and cardiovascular complications. Picture this: a heart that's beat faithfully for decades, a steady drum beneath the ribs, suddenly falters, not with a thunderclap, but a sigh. Heart disease reigns as the most common thief of life among seniors, and its danger lies in its silence. It doesn't always crash in with a cinematic heart attack, chest clutched in agony. More often, it creeps, cloaked in the ordinary, a tiredness that lingers past morning coffee, a breath that catches after a flight of stairs, a heaviness brushed off as just age. But those aren't mere footnotes of time. They're the heart's quiet cries for help. Clogged arteries, high blood pressure, and sluggish circulation aren't inevitable. They're signals, urgent and ignored at our peril. I once met Dr. Ellis, a cardiologist with silver hair and a voice like warm gravel. Most of my patients over 77, he told me, leaning across his cluttered desk, have been carrying heart trouble for years without a clue. They chalk it up to getting old, and by the time they sit in my office, we're racing the clock. His words stuck like burrs. Awareness arrives late, a guest who missed the party. The heart, this marvel of muscle, bears the scars of our lives. Decades of salty fries, evenings glued to the couch, stress that gnaws like termites, cigarettes traded for youth. Yet it's forgiving too. Small shifts, strolling through the park as leaves crunch underfoot, swapping butter for olive oil, can coax it back from the edge. Take Clara, a spry 79-year-old widow I knew from the neighborhood. She'd haul her groceries up 3 floors, huffing but proud, until one day she couldn't lift the bags without a pause. "I thought I was just winded," she said later, her voice soft with hindsight. A checkup revealed arteries narrowing like old pipes. She started walking her dog twice daily, rain or shine, and traded her beloved pastries for fruit. "I'm not chasing 20 again," she'd laugh, "but I'd like to see 90. Prevention isn't about rewinding time. It's about guarding what's yours. Regular checkups, a cuff on the arm to tame blood pressure, a brisk walk as the sun dips low. These aren't chores. They're lifelines, stitching vitality into years that could stretch long and strong. Number 2, cancer and late-stage diagnosis. What if the enemy you fear most is the one you never see coming? Cancer, the second shadow on this list, doesn't always roar. It whispers, and too often we turn away. For older adults, it's a quiet predator, lurking in lungs, colon, prostate, or breasts, treatable if caught early, deadly if missed. The hitch? Its signs blur into the everyday. A weariness that won't lift, a stubborn cough, a shift in weight shrugged off as life. Seniors, juggling aches and pills, might not clock these as red flags. And in that pause, the disease digs deeper. Dr. Meyer, an oncologist with a gentle smile, once shared a story over tea. I had a patient, 74, who ignored a nagging pain in his side. By the time we found the colon cancer, it had spread to his liver. He didn't dodge it from neglect. He just didn't know what to watch for. Her eyes held a quiet ache. That's the gut punch. We dismiss the small stuff. A cough that lingers past a cold. A spot of blood, a dull ache, as aging's tax. But those whispers can be shouts if we listen. Fear keeps us silent, or hope that it's nothing. Yet knowing, even the hard truth, is power. Think of Leo, a 76-year-old gardener with hands like oak roots. He'd cough through spring blooms, blaming pollen, until his wife dragged him to a clinic. Lung cancer, stage 3. "I thought I'd beaten the odds quitting smoking 20 years back," he said, voice raspy. Screenings, colonoscopies with their awkward prep, mammograms in chilly rooms aren't glamorous, but they're windows into what's brewing. Add a life of greens and walks, cutting tobacco's tether, and you tilt the scales. Cancer doesn't always rush, it drops hints. Listening, acting, that's where the fight begins. If this strikes a chord, drop number 2 in the comments. I'd love to know you're with me. Number 3, respiratory disease and declining lung function. Imagine each breath growing shorter, like a song fading out. Chronic respiratory disease, bronchitis, emphysema, COPD slips into third place, a slow thief of air. It doesn't storm in like pneumonia. It settles, narrowing airways, until a walk to the mailbox feels like a marathon. The body weakens, sleep fractures, and the simple joy of a deep inhale slips away. Dr. Patel, a pulmonologist with a knack for blunt truth, once told me, "Half my patients over 77 have lost lung power they didn't even miss, thought they were just lazy." It's a sneaky decline, masked as out of shape. Meet Sam, a 77-year-old ex-mill worker with a laugh like a foghorn. He'd hack every dawn, blaming old dust from the steel plant and pant-hauling laundry. "Quit smoking ages ago," he'd grumble. "Thought I was clear." A clinic visit showed COPD creeping in. Damage from decades past, still clawing forward. Lungs bear history. Smoke from wild years. Fumes from factory floors. City smog, thick as soup. Symptoms start soft. A wheeze. A tightness. Then harden into struggle. But there's hope. Meds to ease the strain. Rehab to coax strength back, dodging triggers like wood smoke or icy air. Sam started pacing his backyard, slow but steady, and found breath came easier. It's not about undoing time. It's about claiming what's left. Number 4, stroke and sudden neurological decline. 1 minute, the world hums along. The next, it tilts. Stroke hits fast, a lightning bolt in the brain. Speech slurs, an arm goes numb, a face sags. 4th on our list, it's a jolt born of years. High blood pressure carving grooves in vessels, a heart flickering off beat. Plaque, choking flow. Dr. Lin, a neurologist with steady hands, said once, "Strokes don't warn twice. You get one shot to act." Time's the foe here. Minutes without oxygen shred brain cells. Fast, face drooping, arm weakness, speech trouble. Time to call burns that into muscle memory. Consider Nora, a 72-year-old ex-nurse who prided herself on grit. She ignored her spiking blood pressure. A little salt never killed anyone, she'd scoff, until a Sunday brunch when her fork clattered and words vanished. Her son dialed 911. She walked again, but slower. Prevention's the shield. Meds on schedule, smoke ditched, cholesterol tamed. Even puzzles or chats keep the brain humming. Nora took up crosswords, grumbling but grinning. Small moves, big wins, strokes a thief you can outpace. Number 5. Alzheimer's disease and cognitive decline. What if your own mind began to slip away one thread at a time? Alzheimer's, fifth and final, doesn't strike. It drifts in, eroding names, keys, stories. It's not pain that heralds it, but absence. A face you know but can't place. A tale told twice in an hour. Dr. Reese, a geriatric expert with kind eyes, said, "It's been rewriting the brain for years before we name it." Families see it first, the slow unraveling, and it cuts deep for the one fading and those holding on. Take Lila, an 84-year-old poet who once spun verses like silk. Her daughter found slippers in the oven. Then Lila lost the corner store's path. "She's slipping," her son whispered, memory by memory. No cure, but tools, early scans, chats over tea, walks where birdsong fills the silence. Greens, berries, books, they shore up the mind's walls. Lila hums old tunes now, her voice a tether. It's not just years we guard, it's the life within them. Number 6. The weight of isolation and broken connections. Now, let's step beyond the body's frailties to something quieter, yet no less lethal: isolation. It's not etched in autopsy reports, but it shadows many a senior's dusk. Loneliness doesn't kill outright. It hollows out the will to rise, to eat, to laugh. Studies murmur it hikes heart strain, dims immunity, hastens decline. I knew Jasper, an 80-year-old widower with a porch swing and no one to share it. After his wife passed, he'd sit, staring at the oaks, voice rusty from disuse. "Days blur," he'd mutter, "when there's no one to tell 'em to." His kids lived states away, friends faded to memory. One winter, a cold turned pneumonia. He didn't fight. Contrast that with Miriam, 79, who joined a book club after her husband's death. She'd shuffle in, eyes bright, clutching a worn novel. "Keeps me sharp," she'd say, "and the tea's not bad." Her cough last fall, caught early. She had people watching. Connection isn't just comfort, it's armor. A call, a shared meal, a wave across the fence, they stitch us to life. Jasper's swing still creaks, empty. Miriam's table hums with voices. Loneliness isn't fate, it's a tide we can turn. Final thoughts. So, here we are, 6 threads of a tapestry: heart disease, cancer, lung woes, stroke, Alzheimer's, isolation. They're not just causes, they're stories, etched in lives we've brushed against. They whisper of battles fought in silence, but also of power reclaimed. What lingers with you? Maybe it's that overdue doctor's visit, a vow to walk more, a promise to call someone who's slipped from sight. Your steps count, tiny, steady, yours. Tell me below, what sparked today, and how will you carry it forward? Your voice fuels this journey. Thanks for walking it with me.